Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Young People Mover Airways. You're now traveling with the Young Flower Captains, Riverside Red, Young Hev. So please stay safely in your seats till the beat drops. We're taking off.
This is how it sounds when the water hit the rocks, when you're cooling out by the riverside. All the hoes, lovers, and these haters wanna touch us. Can we all spark a blunt and get high? Can you see me now? Picture me rolling, my nigga. Can you see me now? You gon' remember my name. Can you see me now? Picture me rolling, my nigga. Can you see me now? You gon' remember my name.
This is your captain.
Hey, yo, what up, though, man? You know what time it is. It's the Howling Wolff podcast, and I am Rick the Wolf, man. That's the Howling Wolff with 2 F's, because if you ain't fucking with me, you already fucked yourself twice. Yo, check it up, man. We got a special guest coming in, kicking out. You know, Escada Gordon is coming in a little later, but I got something special for y'all. Detroit royalty is in the house. This is something special for all the hardcore people that's been supporting. I want to show y'all a treat this week. We got YBI Jaimo in the house, man. Family, famous legacy, man, coming in and share his time, show us the brand new project he gonna be promoting, tell us where to catch him in his new performance coming out today, and the new project and the new wine that he's promoting, man. So we got a great gift, man. Tune in. Jaimo, man, thank you for coming, dog.
Man, I appreciate you having me here, man. I appreciate the introduction. Definitely.
For sure, man. You got to do it up, man, because this show is about the essence of Detroit hustle, Detroit ingenuity, and everything about the legacy of YBI is something that we speak to do that. And I love how the next generation of the family from these iconic institutions in Detroit are using that entrepreneurial genius in the next generation to benefit in a great way of building legacy and generational wealth, man.
Yes,
as well as benefiting from capitalizing on your talents and stuff like that. I think it's great, and I love the opportunity to sit down and talk about that. So first things first, man, we about to get into the vibe and sip a little bit, man. We got a black-owned wine right here, man. I want you to tell them the name of the product and how you came up with that.
Okay, the name of the product overall company is Sip of Luxury. My brother, my big brother, he came across it, man. Some people he knew from growing up and introduced him to it, showed us the game, and we just studied it and tried to, perfect our craft with making the wine and bottling the wine and doing all the proper procedures we need. It's all natural, no preservatives, no additives, no sugars, nothing. So the secondary line is called Old Miage. We have like 10 different flavors. This Black Moscato right here, one of our best ones. It's real good. It's real dope.
For sure. We definitely about to pull up on that. This is the portable one that you can grab that you coming out now. If you seeing that, we got the custom bottles with the corks and everything for fine dining and everything. This is something that in the summer, if you want to be live, you want to have a good time, you want something that tastes good, that you want to have, you could stop into the store, you could grab one of these and throw it in a bottle, go to the concert, go to the music festivals downtown Detroit. This time, the hottest month in the month, you got to get down there. Deli in the Alley coming up. It's the perfect drink of choice right there.
You can have it on chill. That's what it's like. You keep it chill, man. It's better that way. I like it.
And I've been kicking back on the wine, man. I haven't been drinking hard liquor as much, but I'm loving to see the legacy wines, and I'm seeing people get into tequilas and vodkas because it's an easy market to gravitate towards. But wine is definitely something that you got to kind of know what you're dealing with.
Yes.
You got to kind of be educated on the product and the culture of the product. What made you choose wine instead of like going the hot way with a turn up with a tequila or something like that?
But like I said, the wine, it chose us. My brother, the people he knew, they were getting out of the business, equipment and everything else. They showed him. And, he schooled me on the game, but I was already a wine. I would call myself a connoisseur a little bit. I drank wine. I wasn't really a hard liquor drinker a lot. But, and we just studied it, man. I looked up more educated myself on deoxinizing the wine bottles, getting all the bubbles out and doing everything to keep it fresh and keeping it as natural as we can. No pesticides on the grapes, all seeded grapes, California grapes.
And I think that's something great for the market of what people are looking for, something that's organic, something that's clean body, clean mind,
Yes.
Something that you can still indulge in and enjoy yourself at a high quality
Exactly.
product and still get your buzz and feel healthy. And one thing I found is my body recovers a lot better just off red wine. When I want to go to an event, I don't want to feel too tipsy. When I want to feel out of it and be loose, I just want to be on my grown man, enjoy myself with a beautiful woman. I've been really gravitating towards the Chardonnays, the red wine, and
great vibe, man.
Champagne lately.
Yes, and it's good for the blood. Red wine, you know that. You know, not too much of anything. Moderation is the key with it all. You know. So next, though, we were real quick after the wine, we're working on sake now.
Okay,
I'm a heavy sake drinker. I love sake.
Word, man. And the
any...
Japanese market is something that I feel like African Americans with karate movies in the 70s, it's like our culture kind of link a lot.
It does link.
They love hip hop over there. They love the sound and they love our culture. And I think that's a really smart business move of a market to break into.
And if you know about a little history of it, first black samurai in Japan, his name was Yasuke.
Yeah, Yasuke. I am into it, man. Netflix got a dope anime. If you a fan of those type of things, they adopted on there. But it's a great story if you want to get out there and research and learn about history.
Most definitely. I will.
Our history definitely branched out in different areas.
I had a book years ago. That's how I'm like, wow, it was crazy to me, you know.
If you research a lot of the kung fu and the monks and stuff like that, you'll be surprised how much Afro-Asian history is out there.
Yes.
With our influences abroad in Asia.
Most definitely.
And sharing information with them. Getting into the wine, man, that's a great way to branch off. But of course, man, y'all are so diverse. That's not the only thing that y'all really into right now. You real talented. You checked out the music. I love the flow. I love the style right now. You performing tonight.
Yes.
People would love to experience your talent, man. Where are you performing? And what is your project that you working on currently?
Well, I'm performing tonight at 10229 Hamilton Avenue. It's in Detroit. It's like downtown, Midtown, Corktown area.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. I have a person named Jamar Rain. He does a lot of good shows and big guy with that crowd right there. And he invited me to be on. So anytime somebody invite me, man, I definitely try to step up and show love because they always show me love, man. Live to give, man.
And I'm telling you, if you want to experience a city, if you're from out of town, tap in with the locals, man. We have a vibe here in Detroit that can't be duplicated nowhere else. This is really the avant-garde Paris of the West, you feel me? We got the sounds that everybody come to get to. There's so much culture, and I don't want to be cliche and overuse the word wokeness, but like this is the home of FOI. This is where Martin Luther King gave the I Have a Dream speech first before he went to D.C. This is where Nelson Mandela came first to talk about apartheid when he finally got free first at the Cobo Center. It's a reason why we're in the center, and because we're not one of those coastal cities, people don't want to give us our head nod about our influence behind the scene of pushing culture.
Yes.
And when you come to these venues and you take part in our culture and not just come here for the big names and the big venues downtown, you really get a feel of why music is popping here, why our lingo keeps getting taken from us, and you get a pulse when you interact with artists like YBI Jaimo because you're getting the authentic history and the feeling and the vibe of Detroit.
True.
And I really think that's a part of being a fan. When you really are invested in the music, man, you really got to take part of where the music is coming from to understand it. Yes, you got to understand the changes, the climate, why we sound, why we turn up, why we turn up, why a nigga that could dance and look crazy as hell could turn around and beat your ass the next second. Yeah. Because niggas really be, you know what I'm saying? My friends that wasn't from Detroit used to always describe us by saying Detroit niggas is cool till they ain't.
Till they ain't. It's true.
That's
a real statement, man.
And it's a reason why that pressure cooker and that energy kind of is developed here. And you have to be here to feel it, to understand.
You have to experience it hands-on. There's no other way to put it.
For sure. And who else is going to give you a better example of that than somebody who has been born and raised and molded by this city and everything that it is legend to be than an artist like YBI Jaimo.
Appreciate that, man.
You feel me?
Yes, sir.
Let's pour up some of this wine, man. I know my man in the room. Let's give us a taste, man.
Yeah.
How much do you want to talk about the new ideas with your story being told and the venues and that you want to do that through?
We could pour these up. Oh, yeah, we can get into it, man.
Let me give you a clean one.
Okay. Good, thank you. You want to start with the series? Okay, so right now, as you know, like I said, the history of Detroit, man. Back in the day, with our city, man, you only had like three things, man. Especially when Detroit was going through their times financially. You know, for blacks, we had the big three. You had Motown, then you had YBI. You know what I'm saying? That was main money makers around here. I hate to put it up there with that, but if you wasn't in the music, you wasn't working at the plant, man. You was in the streets, you know. And then if you were, you know, submerged in that YBI culture, you got a chance to see a lot of things. And they didn't do it, like, you know, for the sake of hustling. They didn't know it was ever going to be a YBI. They didn't know it was going to be a thing. It was just something that happened, man. Some young guys, man, got taught the game, and they just went other places with it, took it other levels, took care of a lot of people, helped a lot of families out, and it's the DNA is all through here. Everybody has somebody in YBI in Detroit.
And it really is. It's like the Kevin Bacon type of effect. Everybody's one or two people removed. If you're not, you were the son of somebody who cleaners was affected by how many new suits came through to be cleaned.
Exactly.
You were the son of a baker who got money off of all the wedding cakes from all the people getting married and the events. Or your mom was a caterer who went to all the parties.
Facts.
The effect was palpable, and it echoed through the community. So you really had to be a part of it to understand it before you just kind of demonize something. Because when I go to Chicago, I see Al Capone's picture on a mug, and I see his story romanticized, and I see the prohibition of alcohol celebrated with Italian Americans making themselves a mark in America in their path to legal business and everything. We're really just a group of people who had a resource given to us, and we used it industrially the only way that we knew how, and it affected us in our community. But the motivation behind it was to make a positive impact in the people around us, to support and to build network. And when we did that, and when we had the opportunity to take that industrial spirit somewhere else and move into legitimate business, that's what was done. Because really the only thing that was missing between those two groups and community was opportunity.
Could have said it better myself, man.
You feel me? And the opportunity is there now. So the story is something that is valuable for us to know, to have pride in where you come from, to know the full story and extent of why your community is where it is, so you know how to get back.
Yes.
So you know the next time somebody from outside of your community brings something detrimental into it, how to be industrious in another way that doesn't bring your own demise.
Yes, sir.
And not telling the truth about how you got there ain't gonna do you no good. So it's the right time for these stories to come out, and what's more important is that we control that narrative.
Yes.
I hate watching documentaries about stories that I identify with that's not told by people with my intentions in it. And you could feel that, when that disingenuous feeling when somebody's not rooting for you, when somebody's not trying to understand you.
Exactly.
They just got you on display.
Right.
And we doing that in the best place to do it. Detroit is one of those places that's keeping that revolutionary spirit alive. Right now, even with everybody on strike because of the writers and not being able to own their intellectual property and getting money because of syndication, Tubi, which is what everybody's laughing at, is a safe haven for creatives, to tell your own story, to be in control of your own story.
Yes, it is.
You know what I'm saying? And let's talk about where you chose to tell these stories and what format and why, so you can have that control of that narrative.
Right. So, as you know, Maurice Farr, Marilla, that's my bro. Been knowing him a long time. He's done a lot of good things with Tubi, you know, movies and whatnot. So he's working on my father's book. He's bringing that to life as far as the series. The book is called Bound by Honor, Torn by Greed, the true and untold story of the YBI. So Amazon, you can get that right there. So everybody knows about Butch Jones and his YBI book, and that's what it was. See, my pops, his book was the rise and the rankings from him, how he started from a kid to being inside to building up to be one of the bosses of YBI. You know, he didn't just jump in and just say, you know, I'm the man or nothing like that. It wasn't even like a glorification. Like, it was just...
and just for the people who are just hopping in, listening on the airwaves, because there's a lot of young listeners as I was promoting the show and telling them who you are. It's a generations that the young 20s that don't know him. Like, tell them, for the ones who ain't hip, who your father really is and what his connection is.
Okay, my father, his name YBI, name is Pep. That's what they called him, YBI. He was one of the bosses in YBI. He ran YBI for a nice amount of time after the creators, Butch Jones, Raymond Peoples, WW. You know, he went on and took it to another level. You know, took it to Boston and came on back and did like that. So that's him. He was one of those.
Chuck too, right?
Chuck Lindsay.
Yeah.
Yep, Chuck Lindsay as well. Yeah, he's one of the originators for sure. So yeah. It's a compelling story, man. It's not. It's just not your regular. Like I said, we selling drugs, we balling out. You know, I'm the man type deal. It has a lot of compassion in it. Has a love story in it, man, and all the gangster shit that you want too.
And it was dramatically different from everything else because it was never done before, where children, people, young men of that age, of that pubescent age, was so heavy in the game with so much money at that time. It's something that we see mimicked in television with The Wire and stuff now, but people really don't have an appreciation for this being like the beginning of that model, like the monarchs, the flagship, the pioneers of this thought process, of the first people to take these type of chances,
like you
the
said,
first kids to get out there and make an impact where they were grossing hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. At this age, this was something that the law had no recourse for, because it was something that was new territory, that a new phenomenon that the government created, that had never been seen.
Had never been seen.
You know, that's the part they don't want to say too, and I got to put that on there for you know what I'm saying. They ain't gonna tell that unless we tell our own narrative the right way. The government created this phenomenon, and it was something that changed our communities forever. We had never seen youth at this age with access to money and these resources like this before. It was something, and it happened right here in this part of the country before it happened anywhere else.
And like you said, just with the culture of Detroit, how everything is just stripped from us and everywhere else, and we don't really get credited for it. You brought up
shout out to the Sipper royalty, because I'm feeling that buzz, boy. That red isn't. Were you good over there, Don?
Thank you.
I'm saying, boy.
Like The Wire, New Jack City, all those things were from this right here. You know, that whole Carter thing. That's what
I would tell them. The book, they just changed it up because of marketing, because New Jack City sounded more applicable to New York. But this is where the Chambers Brothers was. This is where the book New Jack City. Do your research, do your source material, find out where that investigative reporter found out where those projects were hijacked first, and learn about your city and the things that happened here. You might have some more pride about and understanding and compassion about the things that are going on today.
I know you're familiar with Leor Cohen, right?
Don't get me hit.
Okay, Leor Cohen, he was partners with Jewish man with Russell Simmons, Def Jam. You probably seen him, Jay-Z and all those guys. So a few months ago, a clip surfaced on the internet when he was talking about him being in Detroit. He said he's never seen so many guys with rope chains and limousines and everything. He's talking about YBI. He said it was a young boy. I said that was big right there. You know, it was real big. So the culture that you seen hip hop coming to, because let me take it back. Our gangsters, we didn't have to go listen to gangster music. They didn't have gangster music to listen to before they went and did they deals.
And it was R&B niggas.
It was R&B niggas in suits.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Isaac Hayes and Rick James and everything doing real gangster shit. Pimp shit.
That's why Oakland and California and Ohio always link with Detroit.
Yes, indeed.
That connection right there, because that player shit.
So the Adidas top 10s, as you know.
Yeah.
Like, Adidas really owe YBI that shit, man.
Yeah.
Run DMC and them didn't have that shit. They got that shit after YBI. The change. The whole hip-hop look came from this. You know what I mean? That far as them
They specifically said they were tired of hip-hop kids dressing like rock stars, so they dressed up and imitated the stick-up kids.
Yeah.
So they put on the Adidas, the ropes, and the leather jackets.
Yeah, Detroit was out of town, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Campaign hats, you know,
Facts.
top 10s, rope chains, you know, mink coats.
Facts.
You know?
My pops and all my OGs is from that era. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about? They
for
was
sure.
the ones outside.
They was the ones outside. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So we definitely had a big stake in the hip hop culture, man, from going just far as that aspect right there. You know, and just the street stuff, man, as well. You know.
I definitely think it's an interesting story. It's the end. When people like 50 Cent here gave BMF a chance, it was the first time I got to be proud of somebody telling our story through the lens and the narrative of ourselves, where the actual person got to give it and it felt authentic to Detroit. I was watching one show like Detroit 187 that they tried to make here, and they was calling out the street names wrong, and I'm like, both them streets were in east to west. You can't never go across them, never touch each other. You know what I'm saying? Just saying wild stuff and not even doing the research to understand. And the Low Winter Sun tried to pop off here, and it just didn't feel like people didn't understand. They either want to come here and show how dreary it is in the winter or how crazy it is in the winter, not understanding we get active year round here. Year round here. This dude slipping and sliding a mink somewhere and still will whoop your ass and never touch the ground.
You
feel me?
Yes.
Like drunken style. You feel me?
Man, no, for real.
You dig it? I don't know how them niggas stay on their feet. Them gators be sliding everywhere, but them niggas don't fall.
They skilled with it.
You feel me?
They skilled with it. But like you said, and then one thing, what helped us out, because we had a lot of YBI apparel, what helped us out in the BMF series, the intro of it, when Meech was first talking, and he said coming up in Detroit, he said we always wanted to be like the Young Boys Incorporated. He said that in the series.
Facts, because they was there first, and the only thing that stopped them was the law. And then it got crazy with the nobody really has narrated that dark period in between those times of the Best Friends crew too.
No.
And talk about how those cab killings and everything got super crazy, and that was a real dark time for all hustlers.
Yeah, it was more murder.
Yeah.
It was more murder, man.
It changed the vibe of the connection. I feel like BMF brought the YBI model back, where player shit and balling came back, and we could ball again without hating. Because we kind of got known for hating in that time, and you have to know the history of your city and the crews and the changing of the dynasties to understand the vibes.
It was haters. It was hater stuff, man. But like you said, they brought that vibe back.
Yeah,
you know,
YBI showed us how to ball. It was young flat niggas with money having fun. The vibe of everything y'all did came through. It was impossible for y'all not to get known, because y'all was the youngest niggas out there doing it, and y'all was doing everything we wanted to do in front of us in real time. Yes, you know what I'm saying? Grown niggas get money and they do shit that you should do when you get that age. Nobody was our age doing the shit we would have done in front of us there. It had a different effect. That's why the style and the fashion move so quick, because them niggas like the shit we wanted right then. Them niggas go get it, go get it for the whole hood, and then go put everything on, because they got money to put on. So when BMF say that we got bitches for everybody, we don't fight over bitches. That was YBI philosophy that he came back and brought back, and it was great to see the city give love. I grew up in 2004 at Bishop Borges, where when Remember the Titans came out, the OGs bought the movie theaters in Old Redford out for us. And we had a private screening for that. You know what I'm saying? So as much as they want to demonize it, I was at a private school with all the dope dealer kids, because they wanted the next generation of us not to be there.
Yes. Yeah, same here.
They wasn't selling us the dream. So I can't hate them, man, for being industrious like that. Just like you can't hate them niggas in the pinstripes with the Tommy guns who put y'all on.
Yes, indeed.
It's time for us to get our due to tell our story of being American businessmen and coming up from nothing.
And to add on to that, with that era to this era, you know, just with the street stuff, man. I know, like you said, they try to demonize it, but it was so much giving back to community. I'm talking about elders got looked after.
Facts. It was order.
It was order. It was chain of command. You know, you had unwritten rules. Say, if I'm beefing with you, you beefing me. I don't care if you shot one of my guys or killed one of my guys. I caught you slipping. Like you came out the store with your mama. You got to pass that day. I'm gonna get you.
Yeah.
But just not today. I'm gonna, you know what I seen you. I'm gonna
it was honor.
It was honor. You know.
And I think a little bit of that and that compassion is messing because we got emotional thugs out here acting out of pain and anguish and no guidance. And you could tell the structure of the OGs and the legacies from where you come from through the way you carry yourself as a man. And a lot of that is absent because of what's missing. And it's like, if you ain't got it, it's out there in the world for you to imitate. Ain't no excuse because there's a lot of niggas out here. But just like it was crews out there like YBI, there's somebody to attach yourself that has direction, that can mold you and to help give you direction. It's just, do you want to be a nigga out here to go get it? You know what I'm saying? And if you want to learn how to operate with respect and learn how to operate, it's businessmen out here doing things other than fucking off with their money.
Exactly.
To follow.
Exactly.
And to imitate.
Exactly.
You just got to open your eyes and choose what you see.
That's what it is, man.
You feel me?
You're right. It's facts.
So let's talk about the vibe behind this new music and how you bring in that vibe and that presence and that identity through in your artwork now.
Well, with the music, man, I just, you know, when I first get a beat or some tracks, if I don't hear no words, they don't just regurgitate words. As soon as it come, like, I kind of pass up on it because I like it to be that organic. You know, just for me. I don't sit it back like I'm going to make a song about this. I don't do that. The beat going to catch my soul, man, and then I just start rapping. Vocabulary may be what it is, but it's going to always be something in my life. I rap real nostalgic, you know, based on my life. Futuristic far as things that I, you know, my nostalgia, how I grew up helped me rap futuristic. So I try to keep it as real as possible in my music, you know, and not meaning real like just talking street shit. I'm just talking about real to me today, how it is, you know. So the vibe, man, I like having fun, man, with the music, you know.
Word. The up-tempo beat kind of have some fun, something that you can put on and vibe.
Yeah, it's like
and
fly.
You can get a mode.
It's like fly. It's like fly diverse music, man. It's like it has a street tone to it. It's always gonna have that. Like I don't get away from that. I know the lingo, I know the game, but do I predicate myself just rapping street shit? Like no, because we got enough of that, and that's not what I'm trying to push. I need to lift these spirits up, you know, and teach them street shit through tales and stories, and get away from the other shit. Like we understand the ups and downs, but we done with the downs. We going ups. You know what I'm saying? All ups.
Facts. Man, I appreciate your time, bro. I got a few more questions before we get out of here, just to test it out when we're going to go to break, man. This is a question I like to give to everybody, man. It's a key point in your life when you break out from the music that you raised around your parents and hearing them choose everything. When you can get out there, earn a few dollars for yourself around 13, they say that's when your personality truly becomes an individual, and that's when you start to choose music, and that's one of the evidence that you becoming your own person. Your own stuff. So like, what was one of those first albums you picked for yourself that you can remember, that was like one of your first, like, I gotta have this, I don't care if my dad buy it for me, if my mom buy it for me, this is something so lit, I gotta own it?
I went back and bought E40 in a major way. Okay. You know what I mean?
I can
My brother was on that. And then after E40 in a major way, I was old enough, I was like 11, 12. I got Nas, it was written, and then Mace Harlem World. Okay.
I can dig that. I can dig that. And I can see the hustler, the money, and the wordplay, the lingo. I can pick the vibe.
AZ, Do or Die. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I forgot, that was around with the Nas thing too. He's one of my favorites.
Okay. It was a record store off of Plymouth and the little blue store used to have a blue building with Plymouth a black sign. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plymouth and Evergreen.
Yeah, it was Damon's.
Damon's. That's where I got my first albums, my first cassette tapes I ever bought out of my own money that I cut grass for and earned myself. Slim Shady LP on cassette tape. The wordplay, the metaphors, a white boy saying some wild stuff with some alternative influences was wild. That was like our generation Beastie Boys right there. I had Juvenile, 400 Degrees, The Block Is Hot, all that on there.
Yeah, by that time, so you said 04, so I think I'm.
This is a little earlier than 04.
No, I'm saying that came out. Yeah, Juvenile was 98. He came out with Hot like 98.
Yep, and DMX is Dark and Hell Is Hot.
Yeah.
Them was my first 3 albums that I bought myself.
Man,
that I had. And it was crazy, and it's funny how things start you on your path of how you start talking with music and getting into different crowds and meeting people through shared interests.
Yes.
I always love to ask people that question. And my next question is called the Hood Hero. Everybody got one of them bums that got amazing talent, one of them dudes who could ride their bike backwards, some weird talent, some weird hood hero from your hood. Could have been the flyest dude with all the cars, all the girls, but who's that dude that never gets seen, never get they ups? This is the place where we put that cape on them and let them know they're a hood hero here.
It sounds cliche, man, but I'm saying my pops though.
Hey, I can dig it.
Cause just real quick, cause the city, like people, when you see them, when we go out, like certain people, but how they glorify so many of the names, and I just look at the morality. If you can technically say a good street dude, like he was a good street guy, you know what I'm saying? Didn't do anything outside of what was warranted.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like help everybody. Like I've yet to see that in my own eyes. You know what I mean? Outside of him being my father, that was a different. Like I didn't listen. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know my father so dope till I was in 11th grade, bro. Not gonna lie. It was just everything that came with the lifestyle. I was just trying to process it, but everything was covered up. You know, family.
You did what a man was supposed to do, and you led the example he wanted you to see.
He said, "Never look like what you do." You know, he had me at the YMCA, man, like Royal Oak, man, taking swimming classes. I was 6, 7 years old, early 90s. You know what I mean? Shit like that, man. So him right there, without a doubt. Yeah, Pep.
Facts, man. I like that answer, bro. For me, let me think. It was a dude who lived down the street from my dad on Sussex. His name was Junior, and he had one arm. But my nigga had the coldest right hook I ever seen. He used to come out there and he used to ball on us and cross us over with one arm. And he used to trip me out because he had like a little sports car. I want to say it was like a little Shelby GT, because I thought it in my mind I think it's a 5.0, but I think it wasn't a 5.0. It was like one of them Shelby GTs that kind of looked like the Fox body style.
That's crazy.
That he had.
That's crazy.
The Chrysler Shelby GT or something. But I remember it was something that was a stick shift, and it blew my mind that he could steer the car and shift all with one arm. And it be them dudes that be like physically gifted in an amazing way that you could probably, if he had both hands, he would have been in the league.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's always one of them amazing dudes that could do amazing things in every hood. One of them niggas that could bust 15 backflips out that nobody could catch and tag or something.
Listen, I seen a dope fiend grab like a flagpole and stretch his body out sideways like a flag. Like I've never seen nothing like that in my life.
Man, be some stuff you see out here in Detroit, bro. Be crazy. You know what I'm saying? Man, so look, we appreciate you coming through, man. Let's tell them the wine and how they can get it and what markets they can support through.
Okay, Homage Wine, Sip of Luxury. You can go to Luxury Vineyards Detroit, Instagram. You can go to YBI_Jaimo, or you can go to Luxury Mars 79. You can place orders. Website will be up again in 2 weeks exactly. We just updating it with new graphics, new bottles, and everything else, new merch, T-shirts, and things to go with the wine. So that right there. And we really do a lot of pop-ups, man. So just follow us on IG. We do a lot of pop-ups, a lot of celebrity send-offs. We send gift packages, celebrities, and they post it, whatnot.
Definitely, man. Send it over here, man.
We'll we can get you some bottles.
For
yes,
sure,
sir.
for
I appreciate
sure,
y'all, man, having me.
Thanks a lot, man. We're going to go to break, man, and we're going to come back with our next guest, man. We got a lot coming, man. It's a special episode. Thanks for supporting. We got something special for y'all. Stay tuned. Back and we hollering with the Wolff. Wolff once again, my baby. Howling with the Wolff back here with another guest, man. It's another special treat. My man Marcus is an up-and-coming artist from Detroit, man. And you know we like to use this platform to show everybody love, to get in here and show what makes Detroit really creative, man. So Marcus, introduce yourself. Let them know what type of art you make and where they can find you.
Okay. You know, it's crazy because people know me as like multiple names. It's so silly, but I started off as Money Marcus. You feel me? Then I changed my name to just being Marcus, but I'm also kind of known as Marcus the MC. So, man, basically, like, I just kind of transitioned into, once I fell in love with hip hop, like I just fell in love with bars. Man, people know me in the city for like rapping. You feel me? Like that's what I'm known as, like Marcus the MC.
So are you kind of in that battle rap space, or have you kind of made your name kind of jumping on projects and mixtapes?
Yeah, more so like going to shows, you know, doing acapellas. I feel like a lot of people at shows, I notice a strength of mine and a weakness. Like I'm not very good at like jumping around, being all hype energy. You feel me? Like I just like to go and just rap, like show people I can rap. So I would just basically go to shows. You feel me? And rap. Like,
so you're still in that stage of finding your identity and your voice, and you're changing your name a lot because you kind of like tapping into that underground and filling out kind of who you are in that space?
No, I would say just that one time. I was just giving you the background of like how some people know me as, people still call me Money Marcus when I don't go by that name no more.
Okay,
you like,
so you kind of passed that. You kind of,
yeah, it's like the younger me.
Got you.
That was
all right, I feel
me.
what you're saying now. I feel you. That's kind of like your trajectory, how you got here.
Yeah, you know, like every artist go through that transition. Like
I feel you.
Like Nas might have been Nasty Nas before he was Nas.
I dig it.
Everybody had their different names, so now it's just like, you know, I just want to be me. You feel me? I don't want to. I didn't want to have that attached to my name, you feel me? And even with Marcus the MC, like I don't want people to just box me as being the MC because I do a lot of things musically, but
right, because you were saying you produce as well.
Yeah.
Right, so you make your own beats.
I ain't gonna lie, I like making beats for other people, but I never really like producing for myself.
Word.
Yeah, it's like,
so that's weird. So that's something that you like to do. You produce and you enjoy making the beats for other people.
Yeah,
but you don't like making them for yourself. Can you speak to like why that phenomenon is?
It's silly. It's like, I don't know, bro. It's like anybody that's an artist, they just know, like, you get on YouTube and you can find whatever you looking for, you feel me? Like, I just feel like whatever type of vibe you want, you can find it on YouTube. Like, whatever type of instrumental, whether you sad, you know, you hype, you turn, whatever. Like, so, you know, not saying I'm not capable of that, but I just feel like it's so much easier when I can just go find it opposed to having to make it.
I feel you.
It make the process way easier. Yep, so.
Kind of gotta, when you in that creative mode, and then when you making music, you kind of like to hop on the wave, instead of creating it.
Yeah. Or you know, either or. Like, I just let the beat speak to me. You feel me? I might not even. I'm so like, you know, diverse as an artist. Like, I can basically not even be in that mood, but I can get in that mood if this is how the beat is speaking to me. You feel me? Like, if I find a beat on YouTube and it makes me want to, you know, pour out my pain, then that's what I'm gonna do. But I might not be in that mood. I could be perfectly happy.
Okay. How did you get into rapping and find out, like, all right, I want to be an MC. This is something that I kind of want to start venturing into this art form and making it. How'd you get into performing, and how'd you get into making those connections to move forward with being an artist?
As far as, like, you know, I kind of started rapping, like, a little bit after high school. Man, I kind of feel like everybody started off like this. Started off playing, you know what I'm saying? Like playing around, just playing with it, then actually starting to like it. Like, oh, I like this, you feel me? So I started liking it, and then I was just going to the studio a lot. I want to say when I was younger, I wasn't really doing shows. But then some point, probably like 23, 24, I decided I'm going to get outside, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just drop music and then, you know what I'm saying, expect to get on like that. It's like you kind of got to put your face in front of people. Right. You feel me? So, like, I just started finding promoters and then getting outside and being active because just dropping music on, you know, Instagram or SoundCloud, it wasn't going to be enough.
What's some of the venues that people can come out and support you at? Some of the venues that you go to regularly? You got a couple of clubs you in, or you kind of just promote different events and drop tickets as they come about?
Yeah, so I just started back doing shows. With the venues, it's like never no specific name as far as I can think of because I just mess with whatever promoter's having a show. Like, if it's a promoter having a show, I'm like, hey, I want to be on the show, you know. But they always at random buildings. Like, they never had no, like,
Facts.
Cobo Hall or something.
Hey, that'd be where the hypest
It's like
venues
underground
be.
scene.
It is a underground scene that's real
underground scene.
tapped in right now, and I kind of like it because it's not like monopolized by Ticketmaster or anybody. It's really an entrepreneur like chillin' circuit of
It is,
venues that's under the radar, and you got to kind of know who's who to know where what is and how to be tapped in. And it's like if you can kind of tap into that vein of the city of knowing where these secret events is and who these dudes that own these buildings, you can really find a way to make money to have a small venue put a lot of money in your pocket if you know how to finesse it.
Yeah.
But you really got to be one of them people out here in Detroit that know how to finesse, know how to be an entrepreneur, and know how to work. Like, it's not going to be laid out there for you. If you think that you going to get on Ticketmaster, Eventbrite, and you just about to promote an event and it happened like that, like, you better make something move and shake. But the thing about Detroit is there's room and space and resources really for you to be your own economy here.
Yeah.
You just got to have enough hustle in you to get it.
Facts. I wanted to touch on that, but we not gonna touch on it because it's such a long conversation as far as like what you was just saying about being an entrepreneur in the shows. Like, it's a sticky situation because, you know, you got both ends of it as far as the artist side and then the promoter side.
Well, that's what we here for, because I don't ask no fuck-ass questions about who you beefing with and who you
No.
dating and shit.
I'm just
that's
saying,
what we
like,
talk about on this show. We talk about the ins and outs because there's people who don't know how to facilitate business.
Yeah.
And there's people who have aspirations of doing this, and they get out there and have great talent but jump off and do some weirdo fuck shit, and now you excluded from the room where business deals happen.
Yeah.
You feel me? So that's what I like to kind of speak to, is when you getting out here and you want to not get played by these venues and you want to get a fair share off the door and you want to know how to market yourself and put yourself in a position to start monetizing your talent. To have people come out and show you. Them the stories I love for people to get into, of the stories of making sure you get paid for these shows. Making sure your cut is right off of the ticket sales and stuff like that, or even how to go to a venue where they might not necessarily have those type of events yet, and having the type of you know what I'm saying, kind of ambition to create that opportunity where it might not exist yet.
It's a process. It's a process because nobody's getting paid to do shows. Like, you paying to do shows. You feel me? That's how it's pretty much going. Like, till you get to a certain point, you know, you might you eventually get paid. But for the most part, if you're an upcoming artist, like, you paying to get on these shows. And that's what I just wanted to say. Like, it's a lot of politics. Like, you have some shows are competitions, some shows aren't competitions. But basically, like, you know, when those competitions and things get involved, where it's a prize, you feel me? It's a lot of politics, and it can get very, you know, kind of, you know, janky, because it's like you paying your money for something and then it's not even fair. But I'm past that phase. Like, it doesn't bother me no more. I done did so many shows. I'm so used to it. I would just want to say that to somebody newer getting in the game. Like, you be prepared for that, because you will go to a show, you will rock that mug, and you'll be the best performer, and they'll still pick somebody else. Like, I done seen that happen so many times. Yeah, like, you just killed the show. You just killed your shit better than everybody, and they still pick somebody else, and you'll go home mad. It's like, I don't even go to shows with that in the back of my mind. My goal always been, when I go to a show, I just want to leave with one new follower. That's it. That's my goal every show.
Yeah, that's what
supporter.
I think is about perception, right? And perspective. You have to take away a different goal.
Yeah.
If your goal is to win their opinion, they already set that show up to have the winner be the winner before you even get there. So you're gonna sell yourself a lot of hard nights of sleep if you really sipping the Kool-Aid and thinking that you got a fair shot at some of these places. The hustle is being seen.
Yeah, exactly.
The hustle is being in the conversation of, oh, my man should have won. The hustle is to learn how to monetize and to use your face as an economy and your recognition to leverage your relationships that you made to get you on that show.
That's the wave
and
that I'm on.
You gotta understand how to use those experiences to create something of value in it for you. Because if the only value you're trying to take away is the little plastic ass trophy of the talent who won at the end of the contest, you missing the whole purpose of what you really could be building in those moments.
Facts.
Because You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that's great that didn't win them Star Search ass, weak ass talent shows and stuff.
Man, what?
But knowing how to position yourself to make yourself be seen, so you can showcase your talent, so you can have content, so you can have a resume, so you can have resources, is something that a lot of these people aren't being explained.
Yeah.
And they're getting the opportunity, and they're disappointed because they're not getting the resources out the opportunity, and it's not manifesting their goals. So I think that's something that's smart, man, and that's a great way to look at it, is to have something else to take away from those things, that you could build your talent, your empire. One follower is one more person that's active and dedicated to supporting you, and that's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, the exposure, man. Like that's what it's about for me at this point in my career. You know what I'm saying? Anything that I do, it's just about exposure. You feel me? Because it's like that's really forms the basis of, you know, your supporters, your fan base. Like, you know, you want to be getting people to tap in with you. And how can you do that? Like I was just telling you earlier, just by, I mean, you can build a social media presence, and you can do that through social media. But I'm just saying, like, it all goes hand in hand. If you're doing your social media thing and you also active outside, like, and going to places and networking and meeting people and putting your face in front of people, then it just makes everything come way better, you know, come together way better.
What do you think is one of your most valuable resources as an up-and-coming artist? Like, seeing that you mentioned social media and companies and tools and recording yourself as an independent. What's some of the tools that's like really accessible to people that they can use that's really been helpful for you?
Yeah, so I'm gonna tell you, I already knew the answer to that question. It's having my own studio. Like, that was the best investment. I feel like one of the best investments I've ever made in my life. You feel me? Because this is something that I love, that I'm passionate about. And having your own equipment is just, it's such a indescribable feeling. It's like you're not in a rush. You know what I'm saying? You can perfect your craft. You feel me? You can really just get all the way down in the mud with it, and you feel me? Get
There's
better.
no restraint on your creative process.
At all. I used to spend a lot of money at the studio, and I would always feel like I'm in a rush because I got 2 hours, or I got 3 hours, I got an hour. So it's taken away from the fun, because this is starting to feel like a job.
Yeah.
It's like I'm here for an hour. I got to get this done in an hour.
Yeah.
Opposed to me being at home. If I want to take all day on one verse, I got that luxury to take all day on one verse.
Yeah, that's a game changer.
Yeah. So it's helped me get so much better as an artist, because I can practice. You know, I can do these weird things. I can do different things. I can rap in different tones, try different voices, you know. I can do pretty much anything that I want because I got my own studio.
It's like they say, everything starts with that journey to 1,000 hours. And if you can spend time and monopolize your time doing one thing, you're going to get good at it.
Yeah.
And that got to be a game changer, owning your own equipment. So you heard it here, man. Social media, owning your own equipment when you're independent are some of the gems that you can take with you getting into the game. Learning how to find positive experiences out of every networking experience and exposure experience, and learning how to monetize your own exposure and recognition is some of the great tips for up-and-coming artists, man. That was some great information.
Yeah, man.
I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Before we get up out of here, man, I got something special for y'all. We have another guest coming up, an artist and a cartoonist. So something that's a bonus to our crate pick. You can hang around and check it. Yeah. I want to show y'all a story that's super dope. This is going to be our off the shelf. This is here a comic book called Abbott. It's a graphic novel by African American writer. She's a woman from Detroit, and it's set like in 1970s Detroit. An investigative reporter, some spiritual kind of aspects to it, some crime noir, great art, great cultural stories that's actually tied into the history of Detroit. Super riveting story. It comes with 2 additions to it, and I do believe that there is a 3rd volume. You can grab it at Vault of Midnight downtown on East Grand. A great place to grab it, but you can always support your local mom and pop shops. But that's definitely a great book to get into, man. And I'll give y'all a sneak peek of some of the artwork on the inside. You know what I'm saying? Great works.
Yeah, that's fire.
All Detroit published, Detroit artists, black female, black girl magic, you feel me? Plus Detroit history, Detroit intelligent storytelling about our social past tied in with our spiritual past with a great mystery and story and dialogue, bro. So if you're looking for a great story to get into and something to support, Abbott 1973, there's about 3 different graphic novels. Check that out. You can pick that up at the Vault of Midnight downtown. They not paying me to tell you that, so you can buy it from wherever you want to. But if they want to sponsor me, you feel me, show some love. Yeah. Hashtag a brother or something, man. And we're going to get into our crate picks. You know, we got something special for all the crate diggers. You know, I got to show the DJs some love. This week, I got something a little freaky, a little different for y'all, man. Live album, Marvin Gaye Live right here. This is something that you got to go out and grab. Whenever you out there and you crate digging, a great way to find drum samples that might be a little bit more unique or different that everybody else got. Marvin Gaye is a heavily sampled guy, a real popular guy. But if you can get out there and get a live album, he's a Motown trained artist, right? Albums that are live usually suck. So usually the drum patterns are a little off timing if it is live. It's inferior recording quality. So you get weird sounding samples sometimes. But him being a Motown fan, they have some of the greatest quality live albums that was pressed on vinyl. And on the back of this, they have the song Trouble Man, which is one of my favorites. If you a fan of the movie Four Brothers, the movie starts off with the title track playing Trouble Man. It's a little bit longer than the regular recorded version. So you might be able to play around in there and find some loops, some breaks that aren't in the regular album that gives you an edge on other DJs. Our honorable mention for the DJ, this is another one, deep dive in the crate. This is something for the people who got some eclectic ears. This is Deep Purple. You know that smoke on the water and fire in the sky. Yeah. You feel me? That's on the Deep Purple machine. This is a original press of that album. But I love rock from the 70s because it was pretty much just funky white boys that grew up on the other side of the river from the black people playing soul. So they got real gospel, bluesy, chords from back then. I love Southern rock from the 70s. I love classic rock from the 70s, ballads from there. You can find some awesome chords if you're DJing to mix up. An honorable mention is this Erykah Badu album here, man. She always got some fire. She always got some vibe, something to chill with your lady when you cleaning the house. You want to vibe and chill, put on some tea, get some art, do something productive. This is something dope to throw on the album and chill with your lady and stuff and vibe in the room, man.
Which album is that? Which one is that?
This Erykah Badu one is a new part of America, Return of the Unk, right there. So this is one of the more modern ones, something dope when she was in that kind of funk experimental phase with music.
One of the best phases.
Yeah. This one is our last deep crate vibe. You feel me? Frank Ocean don't get enough love for the impact he had on the early thousands. You know what I'm saying? Exposing us to all kind of alternative sounds. But this one is super nostalgic for me. This one was just a time and era in my life where this was just a sound. Everything was super nostalgic at the time. Everything was super avant-garde. And it was just a dope moment in time and a lot of dope tracks.
What time frame? Like what years?
I want to say this is like 2004-ish, 2005.
Frank Ocean?
Didn't this come out during that time? In the early times, I want to say.
No, I didn't know he was around that time.
I want to say, man, no. I'm a little off on that. I want to say that's closer to 2008. I'm wrong. I'm tripping. I'm saying this is around like that 2008, 2009 era. Yeah. You feel me? Because American Wedding is one of the dope tracks off of there and stuff, man. That was definitely a dope crate dig for this week, man. So a lot of gems out there for y'all to play, man. Definitely got to keep vinyl alive for the collectors and the fanboys, man. Lots of books out there. So, man, appreciate you sticking around for the crate picks. You feel me?
Sir. Yes, sir.
And you said show one more time? 2011 it came out. 2011. Yeah, I knew it was right around that 09 because I was like, my son was on there.
I was like, what?
I was thinking way too far back.
50 Cent or...
Definitely. That was definitely too far back. But 2011 was right there. That was that dope track though. A lot of dope tracks on that one.
Because when you say nostalgic, I'm automatically thinking about like Wiz Khalifa and all of them. I feel
it
like
was
that
like
might
a
have
little
came
bit
around that
after.
era.
It was a little bit after them,
Yeah.
right? Because they were a little closer to 2008, 2010.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like
yeah,
2011.
yeah.
After that, Schoolboy Q, like right at before the Schoolboy Q blow up
Good
and
Kid,
stuff.
Mad City, 2012.
Yeah, he was right in that class, man. So it was definitely a good class, man. We're going to go to another break, man, and I got another big guest coming in for y'all, man. Thank you definitely for stopping in, Howling with the Wolff, bro.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man.
Good luck to you, man, and let them know where they can find your music and support it on streaming on Apple Music or anything so they can get a feel for your vibe.
Yeah, got you. So y'all can follow me on Instagram at the MC of MCs, THE, MC of MCs. I got 4 pages. Please don't pay me no mind. I swear that page is the page that I be on. As far as streaming services, y'all can find me at just Marcus. Like type up Marcus Mood 3. That's my last project I just dropped. I feel like y'all definitely rock with that. That boy fire.
All right, man. We'll be right back after the break. Thanks for chiming in.
All right.
Hey, yo, what up, though? We back, man. We howling with the Wolff again, man. It's the boy, Big Ricky the Wolff. And today we got another guest, man. We hitting y'all with super, super fat episodes with a bunch of guests coming, a bunch of Detroit talent. We got Escada Gordon in the building. Yo, yo, yo. Tell them about your art, man. Tell them who you are.
Well, I'm Escada Gordon. I'm a comedy man. Based in Detroit. I've been doing cartoons and comics and whatnot for years. Dabbling in the music and film, just style and fashion, just everything. Yeah, man, I'm all across the board with it. Anything you can name, I dabble with. For real, for real.
For real, man, I was excited to talk to you, too, because I just didn't know what to label you as, so I just labeled you as creator because you truly are a creative person that creates in so many different mediums, from film to music to product to painting, fine art to commercial art like cartoons and screen prints and digital art. It's not too much. I haven't seen you. I even scrolled through your pants one day and I saw you making pants out of Beanie Babies, and I was mad at how dope it looked and the fact that, dog, I would sweat and soak that in 5 minutes and my big ass tried to wear a Beanie Baby suit like that or something, but the swag or something was cold, bro, and it was kind of like a living Heidelberg project. It was something so dope and something that always calls back to the grittiness and the rawness of Detroit. Talk to us about your influences and how you got into painting, man, and how you kind of got into the lane that you in.
With painting, it was kind of something that just was, I feel like if you're becoming a designer, cartoonist, or whatever, not in visual arts, I feel like the lane of being a painter is just something that you just jump into. But for me, it was just to stay out of the streets, honestly. It was all my homies, my homies was niggas, robbing niggas with buffs, even fucking pair of pants, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real, for real. So at a point in time in my life, all my homies got locked up. Like, literally all of them got locked up, so literally except for one. And I'm just in a situation like, damn, I ain't got nobody to really hang out with. So I'm just digging to figure out like passions and stuff of mine that I've been doing out through the years in high school. So I was doing music for a while, and the music was like real hype. You know what I'm saying? That was my first step into being like an artist. Like, so before I was Escada Gordon, which is my official name publicly. I was Spaceman the Rapper. And Spaceman the Rapper was the name that I was using when I was working on a project called Hippie God. So, but Hippie God transformed into a whole different project when I was making it. But what really drove me was like, damn, I'm actually good at what I'm doing here. Random one morning, I was up all night, and I at the end of the night, I was like, I'm about to go and porn. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to sit here and chill. And then I went to sleep, as you would do after some pornography.
Right.
And I was passed out. I was knocked out. I was up to like 5 a.m. And I'm just, promoting my music and, putting it on different platforms and whatnot. And then I wake up with all these notifications and my homies blowing me up, trying to get a hold of me. But I was like just dead. And they was like, bro, where you at, bro? Kid Cudi was just shouting out your music and stuff. And I was like, Kid Cudi. I was like, I ain't send my music to Kid Cudi. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. And he showed me all the screenshots and everything, sent me the link to the post. He just randomly threw out my project and was just like, shout out the hippie guy. And he just got me a bunch of streams. And I'm like, okay, well, guess I'm about to just go hard for a little bit on the music. I was doing all my.
You think that was the first time you had put out artwork and got that kind of response that really drove you to really like, okay, I'm being received well, let me like double down and create more?
Yes.
Was that the first time you felt that response through one of your creative venues?
Yeah, because it came so naturally. I didn't even, like I said, I didn't send my music to Kid Cudi. I don't even know how he came across my one little project that was like, I was just throwing out unmixed and mastered tracks onto my SoundCloud and putting it into a playlist. And, that was just really cool. Just recently, he came on my page wanting to get a piece that I did of him. So I was like, that's kind of crazy that you just keep popping up randomly. But nonetheless, shout out to Kid Cudi. But yeah, that was a real driving part. And I jumped off of music and I started doing the visual arts because I was doing all my cover art, all my promo and stuff. I was a part of a collective called Heavy Mellow. And we were like just this alternative, like just random bunch of musicians. I was the youngest musician. All my homies used to give me so much pushback. I love them. They pushed me to work hard because they was rapidy rap niggas. You know what I'm saying? They like hard bars. And I'm over here with this smooth, melodic alternatives, like little brand to myself,
But sometimes that gets you more exposure because it's refreshing, because it's like, all right, something different stepped into the room in that space. But you run the danger of having to be comfortable in yourself and know your voice and know how to resonate within yourself in those places and be just confident in your own frequency so you don't mold to what you hear around you, so you can develop that sound. That's not something that everybody has the courage to do. How do you find the like courage to be yourself? Because this is something I was talking about with my friends about how I love seeing black kids younger than me allowed to be weird in this space where you have to be so hood. Like you was talking about, you wake up one day, all your friends locked up, and you have interests in other things other than the block. And how do you express that when the immediate struggles of the hood is around you at all times? And not draw attention to yourself that puts you in a dangerous situation. And people don't really appreciate the kind of strength it takes to be yourself and stand out in that type of environment. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you find the strength? Like, because even people like Danny Brown and stuff, niggas chased them out of Detroit to get popular outside because niggas from the hood is like, hey, man, that ain't the nigga uniform. You out of uniform. Why you doing that? That ain't like us. You know what I'm saying? So how do you push through all of that and be steadfast and develop and grow in your artistry that when it's something that's so unique?
Well, I start with saying, I always ask this question to a lot of my friends, a lot of people that's around me, I have these types of conversations with. I ask them, what exactly is Detroit culture? You know what I'm saying? What is Detroit culture? Because when I see Detroit culture, I see a multifaceted culture. It's so much that happens. And I heard you talking earlier. It's a lot of subcultures within Detroit cultures. Detroit is a very gothic city. You know what I'm saying? Detroit is a very rock city. It's an electronic music city. It's so much to it. You know what I'm saying? On the terms of arts, you got niggas like me running around here. You know what I'm saying? I didn't just birth out of nowhere. I had people that were before me that were heavily working on these projects, thinking of like, what am I actually doing here? You know what I'm saying? I'm just a person who took the realms of creativity and just refined it. And I've always been the type of individual to just like say, fuck it, I'm about to jump out the window. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not? You know what I'm saying? If I'm jumping and I'm trying to land the right way, it ain't no possible way I can hurt myself.
Exactly, because it's like you can go the expected route and just spout off what you expect to see, and you're gonna get that in Detroit. Exactly what you expect to see. You're gonna see the hustlers, the dope boys. You're gonna see the old Motown heads. You're gonna see that type of Martha and Vandals looking kind of vibe. You're gonna see the Aretha Franklin looking family, the CeCe Winans and that culture. But people also sleep on the fact that this is the birthing ground of the Bad Boys. This that was innovative to take a Raiders symbol and make it mean something in the Midwest. Like, this is also the place where Chuck Daly was so fly they called him the boss. You know what I'm saying? This is also the place where Madonna is from. One of the freakiest, most innovative people that put a black Jesus for the first time in a music
I did
video.
not know that at all.
Yeah, my man that played Leon. Yeah, she depicted him as Jesus, and it was one of the first music videos that got banned off of MTV because she depicted a black man as Jesus in a video.
That's
so
crazy.
Artists and wild avant-garde stuff, when they called Detroit Rock City, you know what I'm saying, their connection to Kiss and being known as Hard Rock City, Alex Cooper. I remember going to the state fair and watching Alex Cooper sing School's Out for Summer at the end of every state fair.
Don't forget Journey.
You know what I'm saying? These is even in my hip hop influences, seeing Alice Cooper give a live show, the pageantry and the artistry of going to see and being influenced by a rock performance was something different than the black dudes and aggression and all this yelling and a bunch of dudes holding mic. I thought he hung himself. I never seen nobody do that as a kid till I saw Alice Cooper do it. And these are things that are all right there in the surface. So when you say exactly like, if we are from Detroit, this is what Detroit culture is. And you have to be strong enough to kind of stand in that and say like, yo, this is what Detroit culture is. I am an example of Detroit culture. I'm not the textbook example of what you was taught to look for, but everything that is here molded. Detroit is super diverse. Like, they sell the idea that Detroit is a black city because of the racial lines and the racial tension between 8 Mile and the suburbs and the relationships between that. But really, Detroit's super diverse. Detroit has a Chinatown. Detroit has a little Chaldean town. Detroit has Beirut, Polish town, the Hamtramck area. Southwest Mexican town. There are different subgroups and cultures all around here. Central area of Detroit was the Purple Gang, where the rich Jewish doctors and lawyers was from. The Italian culture here is big in Detroit. So there is a big influence of art in here, and the way that it comes through the different cultures. Mexican culture in the DIA and the industrial complex influenced a lot of art down at the DIA and stuff like that.
Detroit's a beautiful place, man.
So it's so many ways to kind of. The thing I love about Detroit is you can really operate here without restraint in your creativity.
Facts.
It's just that nobody's coming to save you either.
Nope. It's a ship. You on that bitch. If you start going down, it's either you gotta hope another ship passing by, or you better know how to swim.
Exactly, because that ship passing by gonna keep passing your ass by here. So you know what I'm saying. So unless you can swim and jump on that motherfucker, if you can get on board, you can get on board. But ain't nobody slowing down to pick you up here.
It's been too many people. Like, just, I mean, as you see with my cartoons, it's a lot of people that didn't try to cancel me over my course of doing cartoons. And this, to me, is crazy, because it's like, these are cartoons. My brain still, even though I understand the power of cartoons, it's still a cartoon nonetheless.
So like, I was watching a new TV show, Virgo. My son put me on, and I'm interested in the things that he's interested in and how he interprets arts, and he likes it. And I was watching it, and the superhero that's in there,
Justice.
Yeah, he says everything is propaganda, even the good art. And even though he's saying it in a kind of malicious way, I do kind of enjoy the sentiment of everything is propaganda, because everything is a projection of what we want you to receive. Right? So, like, we do think of beauty because of the things that we deem as as beautiful and stuff like that. So being that we are an adult in an urban world, you didn't choose to make paintings, you didn't choose to make certain art or just be in fashion or just be in music. What kind of voice are you trying to express through your cartoons, and why choose to make that type of media?
Well, the voice that I say I feel that I am communicating is more of just a straight freedom of expression, a freedom of thought, freedom of independence, you know what I'm saying? Just being your authentic self. I see too many people, let's turn, they've been using like NPCs, people have been like unionizing on single ideas and concepts. And if me being from Detroit and I've always been a person who advocated for things that are new and refined and just it's something that you can really feel. I don't like that type shit. It's just I've always been that guy. I'm like you with my homies that went to prison shit, like they out here robbing with each other, you know what I'm saying? They're working with each other. They have the single idea that this can get you some money, this can get you some bitches, this can, you know what I'm saying, this can do something for you. Me, I'm like, y'all all think that. I don't really think that to be personal, you know what I'm saying? But hey, it's to each his own. But back to your question though, my voice is just freedom. I put myself into these multitudes of situations that I see going on in the world, and I just like to talk. I like to talk about them. I like to see people's thoughts about them. I'm a huge devil's advocate. You know what I'm saying? I'm the devil's advocate of my devil's advocate of my devil's advocate. We can keep going around the table. I've been telling my friends and my associates and whatnot, it's like I have no specific like, oh, I believe this and I believe that. My ideas and things that I think, it keeps changing. It keeps changing because I keep getting new concepts and new ideas from other people coming to me. That's why I create consistent like modern art. It has to be modern because my brain only keeps me in a modern state.
And that's what I love about good cartoonists is sometimes you can give me just a vignette of life where I can kind of look in from the outside and enjoy a different perspective of something that's silly, a different satire that's funny. One of the first time, way before Boondocks was ever a cartoon, it was a cartoon in the Free Press. And I remember I cut out this one clip that made a big impression on me. It was Huey and Riley sitting there, and I think the little white girl with the little two Afro puffs, and he looks at her and he says, "You know what the problem with black people is?" And she says, "What?" And the last panel of the comic says, "Black people are always talking about what the problem with black people is." And I loved how simple and nuanced it was. And it just gave a picture, and it was a great way to show you what a problem was in a different way. And I love how pop culture can be a Trojan horse for real issues, because it disarms you with humor, so you just accept the idea. I noticed that you kind of tap into that vein of where the culture is with the youth, with the Asian culture, with cartoonists, with anime, with how we are interacting with like Funko Pop and merch and everything. And I love to see it done from an urban African American lens because I see it imitated through people from outside of our culture, through Picasso imitating African masks, through Keith Harington imitating African simple tribalism and stuff like that, and graffiti and all these urban ideas.
Colonization of our arts, man.
And that's what it kind of is. And so when people see it, and then it's like it was always kind of missing something kind of always felt so much more commercial and closer to pop art like an Andy Warhol. When I kind of seen your art, it was a little bit more, I hate to use words like visceral or something, because when you're African American, they kind of describe you in an animalistic way, in a primitive way with your art. But it was just something more true and authentic about the tribalism and the simplicity in the design and the cartoonism, where it doesn't seem like manufactured incompetence. It seems like a thoughtful narrative and style. why do you choose some of the words and phrases and imagery and some of the products that you use as art and merchandise? Can you explain some of the meaning behind the pieces I've seen you construct and why you use that medium?
Oh, yeah. So with the tribalism things, like the design schemes that I do, I'm not in my perspective, I'm not African, never been to Africa. I've never been to any other continent other than this one. And do that, me knowing that, I'm like, well, I am rooted in these type of cultures and this type of development and styles of art. I grew up around it. My mother, she had a lot of tribal art in our house. I've always, but with the tribal art, she also had a lot of clown art. So it was like, okay,
That's a weird kind of spectrum. That's like a really wide spectrum to go from something very kind of primitive, kind of simple, monochromatic color to something kind of as bright, colorful, and loud as clowns.
My mom loved clowns, and it was I never really questioned it. She used to like every Halloween. She had this crazy clown mask that had like teeth that were like super jagged, and she used to love that. If I touched that mask, she'd be like, "Don't you touch that mask, cause I'm wearing that next Halloween." And I'm like, how many times you gonna wear this? I don't get to wear this at all. But like that, all those things that I grew up around. My great grandmother, she was into drawing cars and stuff like that. Old cars, like the first generations of cars. Like she used to just constantly draw cars. My great grandmother's old, so she was just like she
Kind of funny how those ancestors kind of reincarnate themselves through you though, and those talents keep showing up.
They do. And my dad, we was having a conversation. He's just like, yeah, man, you just be getting all that stuff from your mom's side family, because I can't draw worth the lick, but I know business. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I can see my hustle is in you, but the artistic, that's all over there. And I'm like, I do see that, and I've always been a person who really just loved design. I love things that you wouldn't think necessarily go together, together. You know what I'm saying? Like the tribal and the clowns. Like I love clowns. I love clowns a lot. You know what I'm saying? So because of that experience of growing up with my mom and the things that she just had this love and passion for. My mom was big into rock music. She was big into jazz. She was all across the board. It was a big influence in my life, and definitely the tribal. I got a lot of her tribal art still. My mom passed away just recently, but
God bless.
Thank you. But her influence will always stick, because she's the reason why I'm doing art to this day. My first job for real, was a designer inside of her t-shirt shop. You know what I'm saying? That got me so much clientele and just business with older individuals that to this day they tap in with me.
So you think that kind of business in general and that kind of entrepreneurship, how did that affect you growing up around somebody, even creative enough to have a t-shirt business? Because that's not necessarily like the same certain business everybody parent owns growing up. Like, you know what I'm saying, a restaurant owner or something that's a little bit more everyday type of business venture. How do you think that kind of affected you and how you view business and entrepreneurship?
Multitask. My mom, that wasn't even the only business my mom had. My mom had a nail shop, beauty salon. She had a car wash. She had her and my dad opened up one of the first Coney Islands down in Atlanta, like back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like they always stay. Right now, my dad has an herbal shop. You know what I'm saying? They always had businesses and done business. My mom was a super hustler. My dad and mom both street niggas for sure. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's just innate. But only difference is with my generation that got created is because they were in the street so much, and I was able to be comfortable to a certain degree. It allowed me to explore into the things that they also had passions into. Like my dad likes to deal in art, but my dad doesn't create art. My mom made art, but she didn't deal in art. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that combination of thoughts
Was
and ideas,
well balanced though.
yeah, and that's how you create a me.
Right.
And yeah, I'm just a funny nigga from Detroit that likes making art and likes making music, just like doing things. I like to have my hands in a multitude of different things because I know how to use all these extensions all at once, like a puppet.
Man, that's what I think is some of the most valuable skills is just the skill to adapt. Sometimes is people forget how valuable that is, and I think it's underappreciated. That's something that Detroit people do so well. That's why we move other places and flourish so well. I think is because you just have that ability to mold and adapt, this insatiable hunger to keep hustling and to keep conquering here. It's just like it's never not an idea of what you can't do. It's only why aren't you doing it?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? When you go through all the different businesses you're naming that your father owned and your mother owned it, well, baby, you can do it. I can make it happen. You know what I'm saying? That sound like the quintessential Detroit nigga. Like, no, I don't know how to paint. I don't know how to do here. I don't know how to do this, but my woman do it. I'm going to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to make sure them doors open and it's a venue for that. I'm going to make sure that it's this opportunity. I'm going to find somebody that can do that. And I feel like there's nothing more Detroit than that ingenuity and that attitude.
It's a hard city.
You feel me?
Hard ass city.
It is. It's like it's a very unforgiving city. But when you earn your propers here, when you earn the respect of Detroit, there's no other feeling. Is that value of knowing you made it here.
It's crazy. Like
Super valuable.
I don't travel too much. I was telling my girl like it was my cousin. She was down. She stays in Florida for school and stuff, and they were having a lecture apparently, and they didn't know that I'm related to her, but they brought me up in this lecture in her college, and they were talking about Detroit culture and Detroit visual artists and stuff, and they brought me up into that conversation. I never be in Florida, never go down to Florida at all. I don't know too many people who even live in Florida. So that level, seeing that influence, I was like, Jesus Christ, I don't even know where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? That's even more crazy because I can't even see that sphere for real. I just gotta feel it.
That's what I was telling them on the last interview with Big Lotto. I said the people don't realize Detroit is an international sound.
It is big.
Detroit
big.
is really an international sound, and we really be real received in all kind of places, man. But before we get out of here, man, we dive into it. I want to ask you a few questions about your influences, maybe some of the artists that made a big influence on you, not just musical, but illustrators, artists, painters that made a big impact on opening your world up.
Okay. I'll start my list. I always have this list on deck. I love the people who influence me, very specific individuals. First off, always RIP and much praise, Daniel Johnston. He's a music artist, also a visual artist. He's from the 70s. He make these crazy, the term is called outsider music. I don't know if you're familiar with that term, but he makes he's like the quintessential like outsider music guy, you know. But his art and his music was so simple, his lyrics are so beautiful, and it always resonated with me. I didn't even realize how much his art was around me growing up, and the things that he did influence me. So the movie Where the Wild Things Are, one of my favorite movies.
I know that movie.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite movies all the time. First movie to make me cry. And as I got older, I realized most of the soundtracks.
I grew up with the book.
Yeah, me too. Most of the soundtrack is covers of his songs.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, wow, that's crazy, because this is one of my favorite movies, and he's one of my favorite artists.
I love discovering new stuff like that. I definitely got to check him out.
I was also featured in his memorial because I did some cartoons of him and everything. So, wow. It's just
That's a blessing.
Yeah, it's a weird interconnection through time. Like, I have a quote tatted on my hand right here. You know, Dan Johnson, I love him, man. Of course, Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi was, I feel like, a lot of kids and black alternative kids of my nature, he's a hero. You know what I'm saying?
I think he was. He gave us a space to exist at that time. I feel like it's unfortunate the way his career was managed, because he didn't get to showcase his talent. It was taken from him to be shown.
Yes.
But I do love his creativity and his effort and what he was kind of for black kids at that time.
He was definitely an immaculate figure when he was especially that prime Cudi. That prime Cudi was amazing.
I'm a little critical of where his career is right now.
Trust me,
I'm gonna be honest as a fan. I can't co-sign some of the antics right now. I feel like it's more about it. I feel like he's such a great talent, such a great actor too. He's just being undervalued. And I don't know if it's from himself or just the way he's positioned in the game. But I just really wish he could show showcase his true talent a little bit better than the way
He's playing keep
we
up.
win him. Yeah.
He's unfortunate. That's the worst thing that can happen to an
Yeah.
artist like Cudi is the playing the keep up aspect, because he was already beyond a lot of people.
Yeah.
And the point where I always tell my friends and folks that I talk to about this, it was Speed and Bullet to Heaven that hurt him, because he made a project finally that was truly Kid Cudi's actual feelings, what he actually was feeling, and because they wanted commercial Cudi, they neglected him, and that just made him gave up for a while. Because after that, he did Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying.
And it's a long way of not acknowledging how much of a vampire Kanye West is. Nobody wants to say that.
I can't say
He was the lifeblood that kept him alive. 808s and Heartbreaks is Kid Cudi's style. That
True.
was given to him, that was taken from him and Big Sean after Finally Famous dropped. When you're from Detroit, you really know what was popping and why they wasn't blown up. The only reason why Big Sean is such a spiritual and strong-minded person and such a talented person, he was able to create a whole nother flow to give himself a second chance in the industry you don't get a first chance in. Because the industry latched onto them like leeches and used their style at a time. And that's why I tell you, you really got to be tapped into the game and know Detroit, because we really be the life force behind a lot of these movements and waves, but they never give us our props, and they never give us acknowledgement for the impact on the game that we have and the sound that we do. Because
can I interject on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, with the Kanye leaks, I feel where you're coming from. Trust me, I do. But I look at Kanye like I look at Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, he wrote some songs, but a lot of his songs are written by other people, and over a lot of course of time. Smooth Criminal was written in the 80s and came out when? 90.
Right.
So it's like, I can't really say because a person has somebody writing. That just shows that Kid Cudi is an amazing writer.
No, he is.
And that also shows that Kanye is an amazing performer.
Facts.
You know, we can't. I don't want to knock down anybody within the sphere of the creation. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I love both figures. Like I was going, Kanye is also on my list, because Kanye showed me how to be a director, how to take multitudes of people and make a cohesive sound. A lot of people who make music projects don't know how to make a cohesive music project. And I
understood that, yeah. Conceptually, how to bring something together.
Yeah.
He does have a way of visualizing things and making people be able to see what's not necessarily easy for other people who can't see orthographic views.
Exactly. He knows how to make a simple product, but it's simple but complex underneath this.
Yeah.
Underneath his surface. And then also shout out to Phil Lamar, another big influence of mine. He's an amazing voice actor. You know him from being Static Shock, Will from Far Song from
for sure.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like him, Cree Summers, like all of them. Freaking the whole production team of freaking the Boondocks, because that was because it was so much passion. Not even just the writers, it's the actors and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It was, you know, Carl Jones. Shout out to Carl Jones. You know, when he started following me, that made me like so freaking happy, because I'm
the
like,
storytelling is so amazing in the Boondocks. That's why it's so relevant to what's going on today. The way he was able to tell stories in a creative way, people don't give him enough credit for.
They don't, but I feel like it's coming now. I've been watching a lot of interviews with him. He's been doing a lot of big projects and whatnot, and
I was a big fan of The Last OG. That was underrated too.
It was. I was not on it, and then I started watching. Like, dang,
it was great.
Why didn't I watch this?
It was great.
It was good. It was good as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, what's his name? What's the main actor? Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan. Yeah.
Tracy Morgan is a very
Tiffany
underrated actor. Tracy Morgan is, even though he's kind of like Will Ferrell, he plays a lot of the same characters under the same role, but the type of passion that his acting style comes with is what makes him so great. You know what I'm saying?
Now, can I ask you, since we on this kind of topic, how you feel about the new film, They Cloned Tyrone?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, boy. I love the new genre of black surrealism.
Sci-fi.
I love the way that African Americans can tell stories through a different lens, and we're able to be weird. The people are accepting us enough now to not be the downtrodden face of every struggle that you have to experience in life. Sometimes we just want to see people and images of us just living through life, telling creative, amazing stories. And I love that white people can engage with the information because the satire is dealt with hyperbole, so you can digest the ideas without feeling persecuted by them. And it's a fun way. Like, this isn't new. It's just something that's reincarnated. It's an homage to the old blaxploitation films.
True.
That you come. So when it feels old and it feels old fashioned, go back and research some of these black filmmakers so you have a well-rounded idea of what they're paying homage to and why certain things feel weird. Look up Rudy Ray Moore. Look up my man was just here, Melvin Van Peebles, father of Marvin Van Peebles, one of the very, very first blaxploitation director. Black Point did the film Sweetback Jones. Go back and watch Robert Townsend and Hollywood Shuffle.
I love that freaking movie. I watched that like in this year alone. I watched that probably like 10 times.
You know what I'm saying? It's a masterpiece in black surrealism. Jordan Peele, of course, made it popular and gave us spaces for movies like Swarm and Them and Lovecraft. That's awesome, telling these black narratives and stories in a creative way. Atlanta.
He made Atlanta a fictional place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and it's like being able to express these creative stories now. We don't have to be the single mother, the kid who made it despite all that. Like, we can tell a different story and we can tell different experiences that are creative, and really show how different we are and our thought patterns are now that they're accepting these stories from us. And they've always kind of been there. Even Spike Lee with Bamboozled, not one of my favorites, but it's important. It's very important to the film because it was such an honest film. It does what the goal is, to make you uncomfortable with the truth of where black media and was at the time. But at the same time, as a black person, it's uncomfortable to watch that visceral depiction of that. So I know if you're a white person, that's hard to sit through. You feel me? I prefer Hollywood Shuffle. Robert Townsend does it like perfect.
Yeah. Him and Keenan Ivory Wayans.
Yeah. You know, Keenan Ivory Wayans with I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, bro. It's a classic, bro.
He took blaxploitation, flipped it on his head, and showed respect to it.
You know what I'm saying? So Don't Be a Menace and all of that kind of stuff is like so dope. And I hope that the resurgence with streaming give you access to the next generation of filmmakers and creatives to go dig some of these black films up. Who Shot Charleston Jones, Willie Dynamite. If you grew up watching Sesame Street, Carlos used to be pimping them hoes.
Wait, what?
Yeah, smacking bitches before he was chilling with Elmo and them. Go back and Google Willie Dynamite.
I will.
Go watch it. It's a great film. You feel me? You would never walk down a flight of stairs as cool as Willie Dynamite, I tell you that.
That's crazy as fuck. I'm a super freaking like Sesame Street like.
Yeah, Carlos with the black bald head and the mustache.
Yeah.
That's motherfucking Willie Dynamite, nigga.
That's wild as fuck, man. Fuck, I was in New York and I was in an Uber, right? And I was in Brooklyn. And while we was riding around, I was like, damn, I was talking to my homie. I was in the Uber. I was like, because we was out there for an art show. Amazing art show. Shout out to Black Wall Street. But we were freaking in there. I was like, bro, I want to do a mural out in like Brooklyn, but I want to do it like like Sesame Street in my style. And the Uber driver was like, you know what's crazy is I was a part of the testing group for that. And I was like, you know what's crazy is I know who you are because he was the only black guy in the test group with an afro. And he was like, yeah, that was me. I was like, yeah, that's kind of crazy. And we got into a big conversation, but it's just like black culture, man. It's amazing the way that we connect across the board. It's like we make the best content. We just number one. I love it. Shout out to all my people because it's like. Look at us. If we weren't so great, we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation right now.
Facts, man. And speaking on that, man, thanks for coming through the show, man. Thanks for sharing your creativity with me, man. Before we get out of here, let's close out strong, man. I got 2 more questions for you, bro. Sure. The first question is a question I love to ask everybody else. You know, I set it up before. What's the first album that you was able to buy on your own that really made an impact of your life? Like, I got to buy this. Your mom didn't buy it for you. You picked this out. and this is like my tribe, my music. I'm rocking with this.
That's a funny ass question. It was Kissland by The Weeknd.
Hmm.
That's the first album I bought with my own money. I could
dig it.
I was
The
so
Weeknd
hyped.
was a movement. At first, when he first came out, I thought he was a band because you only had white bitches on the cover of all the art. I thought
I
he was
did
like
too.
a band or something.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, The Weeknd, it got to be a band.
The freaking that was
Mm-hmm.
that album. It was that, and then after that, I bought Yeezus. Both those two albums were the first albums I bought ever. But Kissland, to this day, that's my conversation piece. You know.
Wow, that was such a different change, different time for me, because like those albums were part of my adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
And I was definitely there when they were culturally making a scene and stuff like that. But right around the Yeezus time was when I was kind of starting to feel like Kanye was becoming a little bit overrated as a hip hop artist. I feel like
See,
he's a
past
great
it now.
musician. Exactly. And I was making this argument at the time with my friend was nobody wanted to accept it. I was like, that Yeezus album and those other albums were closer to being EDM albums and house
It was
music
in the future for hip hop.
than hip hop. And I feel like at some point we can't just keep adding to the definition of hip hop.
Hip-hop.
We have to be brave enough to branch off from it and just say he's a great music
But
maker.
it has hip
but
hop
he's
elements, though.
I mean, it does, but so does house music.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
That's why you would you would just list Yeezus as a subgenre of hip hop.
We'll have a whole nother episode on this one because I'm about to go down the barbershop rabbit hole. I feel like it's a great album. It's great conceptual music.
Yes.
It is not hip hop.
No, it's not. It's not supposed to be.
And that's all. That's my only point about it.
Yeah, that's a
It's
fair
a great
point.
music. It's a great creative creation. It's not hip hop no more.
Yeah, a lot of
And
musicians now just here.
And it does have to be guidelines and restriction of what hip hop is if we're going to keep the art form pure. And it's okay for something to be a different kind of great.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
all I'm saying.
No, you got a fair argument. Like you ain't got no pushback
Yeah.
from me. I'm like, I agree. When my homies, when that first came out, I used to get some. This ain't even rap. I'm like, bro, it's not rap. What do you expect not rap to sound like?
I can dig it. And my next question, of course, is, man, I love to show every hood hero in every corner and pocket of every ghetto some love, man. It's one of them cool ass niggas that might never hear it but need they flowers and need they cake put on them. What's that hood hero that might have had a memory that's always gonna last with you or influence that you take with you?
Oh, my mom.
For sure. Let's elaborate on it.
Oh, my mom was, like I said, my mom was gangster. Like not even like halfway. I didn't watch my mom beat grown ass niggas down. Like my mom wasn't big. She just had hands. My dad had hands. I got hands. My brother got hands. It's just we just a fighting ass family. You know what I'm saying? And it's like my dad gangster. My dad more like I reserved the fist before anything. My mom was.
What's the song, bitch? My daddy ain't no hoe. My mama ain't no hoe. Don't try to play me like no hoe. You feel me?
Not
The whole
at
family
all.
got hands.
Do not play. Don't play with a Gordon. That's what I always say.
I can dig it, man. So, man, where can we support you? Where can we buy some of your product? Because there's so many great pieces. If you want to own it, where can we come to some of the galleries and actually become a collector in your art? Talk about the music that's going to come out because you got so many creative things. I want to give you enough time to run down your whole list so the followers can, you know what I'm saying, know what you're about and how to come support your art and consume it.
All right, before I start that list, shout out to that vest you wearing. I've been wanting to say that for a minute. That's a hard
Yeah,
ass
appreciate a
fucking
little
vest.
Nike ACG, little
It's
Jordan
nice.
brand. You
It's
feel
clean.
me?
It's clean.
Yeah.
You know, vest boys.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
But all right. So I'm gonna start off with the most recent stuff. So I got a music project coming out. Just doing a quick little resurgence EP project, Pouring Under My Mattress. I'm not gonna release any of the music until it drops. I'm gonna do little sporadic little snippets maybe on my story here and there, but no posts or whatnot, because the tape itself is more akin to a ballad, hip hop, lo-fi, indie aesthetic. You know, it's really a mood, it's really a vibe, it's really feel good, but it's also like it's emotional. It's like the title, you know, is pouring under my mattress. It's the things that I hide. It's the things that I feel, the things that I'm into, but the things that I won't say out loud or show out in front of people.
I love that. I'm really excited to experience that. I love that idea.
Thank you, man. I really got creative with this project. Really did some things that were like different from my music past. You know, I have a couple shows coming up. I've been trying to pace myself with the shows, but I have, what is it? Art of Soul. That is, what's today, the 12th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's tomorrow. That's gonna be beautiful. That's today the
11th.
Huh?
Today's 11th.
Oh well, I guess that's Saturday then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have that show coming up. It's on my page. All the information is on my page. I'll post it again if it's not. You know, I'll be on my social media. Like, I be playing games on my phone for real.
For sure.
But you know, I got Easter Market After Dark coming up. It's with my team All Motion. It's the company I work with. We do like 3D prints and stuff like that. I do a lot of design work with them.
And I seen you at the venue, the House of Dreams, a lot. I found you through there. That's a great venue to follow. The House of Dreams on Instagram. Dream Runs That House is a great place you could bump into amazing artists like Escada Gordon in person. And they have all kind of different events there with different cool creatives there. So that's definitely something to stay tapped in on. Shout out to House of Dreams.
Oh, yeah. We got a festival coming soon with House of Dreams. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have like 3 main musical acts. It's going to be a bunch of vendors. It's going to be called Fuck the Government. It's going to be a fun little festival, you know, for people to come out. It's going to be a free event. And yeah, you know, we just want people to come out, have a good time, enjoy themselves, and support artists in all sorts of types of ways. You know?
All right, man. Well, man, it was a pleasure to have you, man. Thanks. I hope you come back again and bring more of your art, more of your projects, man. You always got a home here at the HowlingWolff podcast, man. Thanks for howling with us. And this is another episode, man. I hope y'all keep coming in, tuning with the page as we grow. We're going to keep giving you more crate digs, man. We're going to add a little bit more for the fanboys, you know what I'm saying? Something off the shelf for y'all. And we got way more music, way more talent, way more artists coming. And if you are a car collector, if you are in a social group, van group, if you got a dope-ass ride, the Howling Wolff wants to ride with you, man. We want to give you some love. We want to celebrate the car collectors and show your hard work on your builds. Tap in and send the DMs and a picture of your vehicle, man, and you might be featured. Send your art and your projects to the DMs. If you want to be featured on the Howling Wolff project, man, we are promotion. And if you have products, man, come on and contact with us at the Jungle Juice Network. Man, it's business. We making money, man. And hey, a sip of luxury, man, homage right there. I'm fucked up. I ain't gonna lie. This shit is Black Moscato is delicious, my boy. You know what I'm saying? I'm off that right there. So shout out to YBI Jaimo, man. You had to leave for your performance. We thank you for bringing a little bit of Detroit history and a little class to us, man. And thanks to all our guests, man. We out of here, dog. Shout out to the Jungle Juice Network, as always, for hosting. DJ Dime, man. We out of here. Thank you.